back to the Accra-Kumasi issue that you had mentioned, that the president wants to create a loop. How is that different from the bypass?
Okay. Historically, in fact, I am aware that 2 or 3 proposals have been brought to the ministry, unsolicited though, in the past, to build a completely new alignment from Accra to Kumasi, independent of what we all know today as Accra-Kumasi Highway. Governments over the period have been trying to improve Accra-Kumasi, i.e. dualizing sections in piecemeal. Now, at the tail end of the past government, they awarded 8 different projects on a number of bypasses on Accra-Kumasi Highway. The cost of those projects at the time was supposed to be 1.9 billion Ghana cedis. They budgeted for that amount of money to complete the project. Towards the middle of the project all came to request, the contractors came to request additional 1.7 billion as variations to the 1.9 billion. In effect, if you look at the contract, some of the contracts actually require more than 100% of the money to complete. Now, the government never told President Mahama's government never told any contractors to suspend work. Right. They are all supposed to continue working. However, if you award a project for 1.9 billion and request a 1.7 billion variation to the same contract, something must have gone totally wrong. If you watch, the first time I had an encounter with my good friend, the former road minister, was when I raised this. Somebody questioned me in Parliament and I raised this issue. And the question was, when are you going to complete that? And I said, we haven't actually asked any contractor to stop work. In the on-account budget that Parliament passed in December 2024, was there an allocation for the 1.7 billion which NDC decided not to use? No, there was nothing like that. So if there's a big problem, that means that we need to double the amount of money we need to complete that project. We just need to understand why. And so when we queried why the project's cost has doubled, we were told that because at the time of awarding the project, the government then, or the agencies used a drone to fly to determine the alignment, and then awarded the project based on that data. The contractors claim they got to the site, just realized that the video footage or whatever they gave them, under there were Galamsey site and marshy areas, and so they needed extra money to do this. When I gave this explanation in Parliament, my colleague, in fact, if you check his Facebook page, came and said that the kind of drone they used was so sophisticated that it should have determined everything that a contractor needed to get. So if the person who awarded the project says that, as far as they are concerned, they did the right thing, in other words, doubting the legitimacy of the additional 1.7 billion Ghana cedi, how do you expect a new minister to basically sign on and say that I'm authorizing the expenditure of additional 1.7 billion? So that is what it is. And I must say that out of the 8 lots, at least one of the contractors has completely finished his work. The only problem is that where his lot is, though he's completed, it's not connected back to the main road, so it cannot be used. That is the sad situation. It's in the wilderness somewhere, it's completed, but cannot be used because it's not connected back to join the main Accra-Kumasi highway. So
what happens with the rest of the 7?
They are all at different stages of completion, and so once we get to the bottom of that, we now need to budget for them to be completed. In any case, those who say that we are abandoning a government existing project, right, I mean, they should look at themselves and ask, we are taking on a project of $340 million you awarded on Ofanko. And last week, we paid over 400 million Ghana cedi to that contractor. This week, we continue paying. How do you call that government is abandoning an existing project? How do you call it? Kaswa to Winneba Road. The contractor is working. We have novated that we are going to complete. The Agona to Takrady project, which you awarded, if you haven't paid one cedi, $1 out of it, which we are taking on, how then do you say that we are abandoning a project? And in any case, unlike 2017, when the government gave a directive that all Cocoa Road projects should be suspended pending investigation, President Mahama's government never asked any contractor to suspend any work. So there's no iota of evidence to say that we have abandoned any road project in the country. All contractors working on the bypass project are free to go to site and work.
I mean, so again, we'll put a pin in that because I want to name a few projects that your predecessor had mentioned back in Parliament. You tell us where you are with that. But let's stick with the Kumasi situation. So the loop that the president wants now, how does it tie in the already existing expressways, the already existing projects, right?
Okay.
The 7 not completed yet, right? How does it connect to those ones?
Okay, so there are two situations. The struggle from Accra to Kumasi, and that 2 hours or so struggle through Kumasi to exit Kumasi. So whilst we are doing the bypasses, there has always been the need to resolve even traffic congestion inside Kumasi. That is the whole point of Swami Interchange, which has also been more or less abandoned because it's a suppliers credit loan. And once our finances dried up as part of the debt restructuring, that also stalled, which we are taking on as additional project on the big push. So what we are trying to do about the loop around Kumasi is that currently, that is a road we have. People use it. But when you are approaching Kumasi, you need to detour at Ejisu so that you can do the fourth quadrant. You do a circle, a quarter of a circle, and then join the road go on leading to Mampong, which will significantly, to be honest, cut the waste of time you have to suffer if you were to drive to Kumasi itself. That is different from the expressway we want to build from Accra to Kumasi as an alternative. Look, we have an
alternative to the bypasses.
No, an alternative to the current route from Accra to Kumasi. We have the motorway, but we have been investing to build the beach road because sometimes the situation is such that even the motorway or the beach road gets congested and other things. So it's an alternative route to Kumasi, and it's not just a road project. It's a whole growth area. And if people take time and the result of the study comes out, you realize that it is needed now than ever before. That does not mean that we are abandoning the existing alignment of Accra-Kumasi.
But it's not in your multi-year big push program, is it?
It is.
No, there's 7 other bypasses that are not completed yet from the previous administration.
It wouldn't have been because there were contracts on site that we know that the government budgeted 1.9 billion. So all we were coming to do is to continue that project to a completion. We came in to realize that we needed to double that money, which was not budgeted for, both by the NPP government before they were leaving office, because there's nowhere in any of their budget that they are budgeted to spend additional 1.7 billion on the bypasses. So we now have the burden of trying to carry that on as a new project in subsequent budget. So it's as simple as that.
Right. But, you know, what some have said is that if you do this, your new expressway, expanding the existing infrastructure, then you create the loop at Ejisu. So that, according to you, will cut the time.
Exactly.
It is much more money than completing the 7 bypasses, the remaining 7 bypasses, which can properly connect the expressway or the expansion of the highway we have now that you
well,
hope
you see, as a road minister, I look at the country. Today, the condition of Winchi, Sola, Wa is an equally difficult situation for me to accept. The same way the road between Have through Hohwe all the way to Otidamanko, the same way Wa to Bolga. So I am unable to just decide that I want to be fixated on one particular road when I know that the situation is bigger than discussing Accra-Kumasi or Winchi Sola. I'm looking at a broader situation. So our solution is a nationwide solution and intended to address a nationwide challenge. So whilst my colleague, the former minister, wanted the whole discussion, in fact, he said that he disagrees with me for building roads in every region because only 2 regions are populated, Accra and Kumasi. I beg to differ. I believe it is one country. Our resources, of course, we already spend more. In fact, if you take the big push, we are spending on some regions more than the others. It is about creating equity that we don't spend almost all our national resources on only few regions, because it's a unified country that we should be spending in equitable ways to bring everybody up. Yes, even Big Push, we have Big Push projects in Greater Accra. We have Big Push project in Ashanti region. We have in Volta region. In fact, we have Big Push project in every single region. All the 16 regions are benefiting from the Big Push project. Not to talk about the 166 and other maintenance programs.